So today I thought I'd talk about shark movies. Now, everybody's familiar with sharks, so I'll start off with my first one. Everybody's familiar with this. Is called Jaws, as you know. This is the Blu-ray. It's got many bonus features with it. Jaws 1 and 2 are definitely the two best ones. 3 had a couple of good moments and it wasn't too bad. And the fourth one just all around sucked. Now, for some people, they say they like shark movies, but they only like Jaws. And I was like, well, you don't like shark movies. Because everybody likes Jaws. That doesn't prove anything. It's just like saying you like dinosaur movies and you only like Jurassic Park. It's the same thing. So, don't say you like shark movies if you only like Jaws. It's just because a movie's made by a different company and has a smaller budget doesn't mean it's not good. I've seen plenty of big budget movies, $100 million movies, and they just suck. So, don't always assume that just because it's got a big budget and it's got a theatrical release that it's automatically going to be good, because that's not how it works. That just doesn't work that way. A lot of times the freaking smaller budget movies, B movies, whatever you want to call them, are better. You don't need a big budget to make a good movie. Believe me. So, speaking of Jaws, a lot of you probably don't even know that this exists. This is for PlayStation 2. It's the Jaws video game. And unlike the NES version, you can actually play as Jaws in this. You are Jaws, so you can attack boats, other fish, you can attack swimmers. It's awesome. It's an awesome game. If you have a PlayStation 2, I highly recommend that you get this game. It is worth it. Or even if you don't have a PlayStation 2, go out and get one. That game is essential. And the next movie I want to talk about, this is called Dam Sharks, D-A-M, and this deals with a group of people that are, well, they're from a corporation, and some of them are being fired, but they don't know it yet. And these sharks that are swimming upriver are building a dam out of body parts. They'll attack people in the water, and then they'll build their little dam out of body parts. It's actually pretty interesting. It's done pretty well. It was one of the Shark Week movies doing Sharknado Week last year. There's going to be some good ones coming up this year, too. I've seen Empire of the Sharks, Five-Headed Shark Attack. Definitely going to be some good ones this year. Okay, so next one I want to mention is this one's called Shark Week. It's also known as Shark Island and Shark Assault. What happens is this guy played by Patrick Bergen, or Bergen, how the hell you pronounce his name? You don't see that part, but his son gets killed, so he grabs the 7 people and puts them on the island, and they have to survive 7 different species of sharks, starting out with little small ones and eventually up to the great whites. Really awesome film. It's got a good storyline, good cast. Yancey Butler is in it, who played in Lake Placid 3, 4, and 5. It's a really good film. It's done by the Asylum. They do a lot of good creature features and a lot of good movies. Again, they're not a big budget movie company, but they don't need to be, because honestly, they can say something that other movie companies can't. They've never lost money on a production because they don't drop $100 million on one movie. They've never lost money on any production. So before you knock them, know that. Sorry. Allergies. This one I want to talk is the Mega Shark series. This is the first one. It has 2 other movies on there. This is a collection that also has Mega Piranha, which needs a sequel, and 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The first Mega Shark was him facing the giant octopus. The film is really done well. I enjoyed it. Just an all-around great film. The second one, which you can see here, it's with two-headed shark attack, is Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus. Jaleel White is in it, who you might remember as Steve Urkel on the Family Matters TV show. It's interesting to see him in a serious role. It shows you that he's a good actor and isn't doomed to just be typecast. But it's a good film, just like the first one, almost as good as the first one. Well, actually, it's about as good as the first one. The fight scenes between the Crocosaurus, just like with the Strong Octopus, are really done well. They're about an hour and a half long, so they don't overstay their welcome. I mean, it's not that it would be bad if they were longer, because they're interesting movies. You got Three-Headed Shark Attack here, which is the sequel. As you can see, more stars are in this one. Danny Trejo, Rob Van Dam are in the Three-Headed Shark Attack. Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark is the third one. Debbie Gibson reprises her role from the first one. It's done pretty well. It's about what you would expect from a creature versus a mech movie. The one thing that has up on those old Godzilla movies is this movie's actually in English. And what they say is in sync, unlike with the Godzilla movies. I have yet to find a Godzilla movie yet that I've actually liked. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I think that some movies they're made to be bad, but it's like a lot of those Godzilla movies just really aren't that tolerable. So the other ones I won't mention are something that everybody's familiar with by now, and that's the Sharknado series. We got 1 through 4 here. Number 5 is on the way. It's going to be on TV in August 6th, I think. Tara Reid, Ian Ziering star in this series, and also has a slew of guest stars throughout. David Hasselhoff's in 3 and 4. Other guest stars have appeared. Gary Busey, WWE's Kurt Angle, WWE's Seth Rollins. Bo Derek. There's just been a lot of stars in the series thus far. It's a really good series. Hell, even Christine the Movie Car was in the 4th one with Steve Guttenberg. So, I've seen some people complaining they're bad movies. Oh, they're intended to be bad, and it's like they're really not that bad. They're good to watch. I mean, if you don't like Sharknado, you don't belong near a shark movie or a disaster movie. because that's the best of both worlds, that series is, and each one seems to get better than the previous one. So I'm interested to see how they're going to raise the bar for this one. But the series has really done well. The first one came out in 2013, and it's just it really pushed it to the limit. I'd seen movies before, all kinds of creatures before, but I watched it on the night it premiered on Sci-Fi, and I was just blown away by it. I was like, well, I've never seen anything like this before. So, yeah, Sharknadoes are, if you're a fan of shark movies or disaster movies, they are must-owns. And tornadoes can suck up anything, people, okay? Where they might have gotten the idea for this, whereas I think it was back in the 1800s, a tornado sucked up some alligators when shooting them at people, so it can happen. But they're fun movies regardless. I mean, you don't like them, don't watch them. That's what I usually tell people. But don't say you're a fan of shark movies and you only watch the first Jaws, because that's shark movie. Okay, that's just one. Okay. Now, Jaws 2 was almost as good as the first one, but what brought it down a notch was Richard Dreyfuss wasn't in it. And they never really explained that too well. I think they did a little bit, but not a whole lot, so it just would have been better if he had been in it. Like I said, it's almost as good as Jaws 1. And 3 was decent, but 4 just all around sucked. I mean, until I actually saw it, I mean, I had only heard that 4 was bad, but in this case, people were right about it. It just wasn't very watchable. Okay, this one's called Swamp Shark. Christy Swanson, who played Buffy in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movies, in it. Also, the dude you can see as a sheriff on the back played that guy Jake in the Goonies, the one that's always singing the opera and shit. But they're in it. It's a good movie. They're delivering exotic animals, and the shark's in the little thing it's in for transport, and then it freaking falls off the trailer and rolls down, gets loose into the swamp. There's a guy, they're transporting exotic animals illegally. But so that's another thing that can happen. That's how a lot of those freaking animals get loose, is that people transport them, and then shit like that can happen too. That's how freaking. Another thing is that sharks can adapt in freshwater. Some of them can adapt really well. It's like bull sharks. But it's another good movie. You want to check it out? I think it came out in 2010. I'm not sure who made it. It's distributed by Screen Media, but I'm not sure who made it. But it's a pretty good film. People seem to like it. Couple of honorable mentions I don't have right in front of me right now is Ghost Shark. It's where these people basically catch and like torture and kill this shark, and then he comes back as a ghost. But it's not just in the ocean. He can appear in any body of water, even a cup. If you go get a cup of water to drink, yeah, it can ruin your day. That's another movie that was really done well, and somebody had to have an interesting mind to come up with that, but I liked it. Another good one I have right here that I almost forgot to show was this is called Bait 3D. and a tidal wave hits, and then they get this store or whatever the hell store and parking garage gets flooded, and the sharks come in. So it's like a survival story. A lot of people like that too. It's like right up there with Jaws. You can get this one pretty cheap. It's usually like $5-6 used, roughly, something like that. I didn't even know that this was out until I saw it. It's distributed by Anchor Bay, that distributes a lot of good films, makes a lot of good films. Anchor Bay Entertainment. Sorry, this camera's a little weird today. Trying to think what other shark movies I got. I'm not sure they're all where they're supposed to be. I know I got some in that are part of a collection. I got one that's called Mako Jaws of Death. I have not watched that one yet, so I can't offer an opinion on that. I will say some bad shark movies out there that I know of, though, that I don't have, obviously. One is called Shark Attack, the first one. Now, Shark Attack 2 and 3 are good. I mean, they're not the best by any means, but they are good. They're fun to watch. They're by Lionsgate or Vidmark or Trimark, whatever the hell that company decides to call itself. It's all the same company, though. That one, and like I said, Jaws 4 is really bad too. There's another one that really, really fucking sucks out there. I just can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. Oh, Megalodon. Not Shark Attack 3 Megalodon. Okay, because Shark Attack 3 Megalodon was good. But there's this one out there just called Megalodon. Sorry about the idiots outside doing stupid shit. Fucking morons around here. Anyways, Shark Attack 3 Megalodon is the good one. Megalodon 2004, not so much. It was interesting, but what really killed it was the special effects looked cheaper than usual. I mean, even below a lot of like the other B movie companies. Okay, I mean, just like the Asylum, they do movies like Sharknado and Mega Shark, but their movies look a lot better for the most part. I mean, there's been a couple of early ones that are, but a lot of Asylum films are good. But this Megalodon one, I don't know what company did it, but just a little more effort would have gone a long way. I mean, like I said, it wasn't completely bad, but just it was lacking. But yeah, so Megalodon 2004, Jaws 4, and Shark Attack, the first one, I wouldn't recommend. But all the others I mentioned, of course, it depends on what kind of shark movies you like. But don't always assume that just because it has a big budget, it's automatically going to be good, because that's not always the case. Like, I've heard that a lot of people like The Shallows, that movie. Now I've heard that some people don't. So, and that was a theatrical release. So, until I see it myself, I can't really offer an opinion on that one either. I love sharks. I'll show you a couple things I got here in just a minute. This right here is a stuffed plush shark. He is about, I'd say, 3 feet or so long. I picked him up from Goodwill. He was $6. Those normally go for $35, $40 in the store, so I got a hell of a deal on that. I got something on my wall there. It's like, originally it was, I'm not going to take it down, but, guess that's not going to work. But, I got something on my wall that I got from a friend, and, basically, you hang it on the wall. It's, originally, held Slim Jims originally. It was like a promotional thing. Somebody hit his truck, so it had a crack in it. So what I did was I took some of the stuff you can putty walls with. I filled it with that, sanded it, put a little gray primer paint on it, and it's like a battle scar. So it's pretty cool. And then I put a little red paint on the teeth to make it look like it ate somebody. So I also got a shark, which I'm going to have to fix apparently. Puzzle that me and my friend put together. It glows in the dark. Shark. Looks like a megalodon based on the width of the mouth and the way the nose looks. This last thing I got here is a, in plain sight anyway, is a, it's like a pillow. As you can see, he's pretty realistic looking for a pillow. It's comfortable though. Yeah. The thing about sharks is they're pretty harmless. I mean, for most part they won't bother you. I mean, I know there's been a rash of shark attacks recently, but you gotta understand it's because you're in their water, and a lot of times what they do is it's a case of mistaken identity. It's just like if they bite a surfboard, it's because they see a seal. They see the fin and they think it's a flap of a seal, so they figure, hey, lunch. They don't know. It's like you're in their water. You got to expect that. But it's just like when the movie Jaws came out, the guy that wrote the book or whatever it was, Peter Benchley, whatever the hell his name is. That's my phone. Hank Williams, as you can tell. Song's Jambalaya. I don't know how clear that'll come out. Those are my ringtones. Be over in a second. Okay, forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah, that Peter Benchley guy that wrote Jaws, the book. Even he said he was made a mistake because people, after that, they basically condemned sharks. It's like, sharks aren't that bad. But that shows you how this hysteria thing has gone. It's just like with dogs. In the 70s, it was German Shepherds. After that, it was Dobermans. Then it was Rottweilers. The hell is that other one? Dobermans, Rottweilers. There's one more. And now it's pit bulls. That's how fucking stupid people are. It's like, when are you going to start blaming the people that raise the dogs instead of the dogs? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not the frickin' dogs. I've met plenty of pit bulls. I've met plenty of German Shepherds, Dobermans, you name it. And I've never been bitten by any of them. So, I should tell you something right there. Of course I'm great with animals anyway, but that's beside the point. But pit bulls aren't bad at all. It's like, You people need to grow the fuck up. You're always blaming the frickin' animals for the act of a frickin' man. But people need to take responsibility for their own actions instead of blaming a defenseless animal. Same goes for blaming objects for frickin' shit too. It's like this hat, the battle flag. These fucking idiots blame a damn frickin' flag for frickin' somebody that went and shot up a frickin' church 2 years ago. Well, that guy made his decision, and he's the one that has to pay for it. No frickin' flag or symbol made him do it. Okay? I've heard people say that he had the eyes of a shark. I was like, well, don't give a shark a bad rap, because sharks only hunt what is needed. They only eat. They bite out of instinct. This guy went and shot up a church because he planned to do it. There's a big frickin' difference there. And you know what? He's going to be executed for it. So you know what? Let it go. Justice will be served. Fry his ass on the 6 o'clock news and get it over with. He's going to pay for it. But don't blame a freaking flag, and just like taking down all the damn Confederate monuments. Again, sorry about the stupid idiots outside. Fucking loud motherfuckers. Doing stupid shit. Hate this fucking neighborhood. But that's another thing I don't like, is don't compare a person to a shark because they do something stupid. That person did the act themselves, so don't freaking compare him to a shark. Don't compare him to a bad dog. Like let's put this bad dog down. You don't do that. Yes, the guy committed the act. He's being punished for it, so fucking let it go. But a little off topic here, but I have a lot of black friends that fly this flag. Black people fought for the Confederacy, as well as Jewish people, Italians, Irish, Native American. Hell, Native American had their own regiment in it, the Cherokee Brigade, something or other. I forget it off the top of my head, but so did there was a black unit in it. Well, there was more than one, I'm sure, but there was plenty of black people that fought for the Confederacy. But there was, right when the war started, there was one called the 1st Louisiana Battalion or something like that, or regiment. They had weird names for things back then. But would have been easier if it was squadron, like airplanes, because I know what that is, because I'm into like World War I planes. But yeah, first Louisiana regiment was an all black unit consisting of black free men that fought for the Confederacy. So these freaking ignorant people say the damn flag is racist. And you know what? They say a lot of things are racist. Hell, I've seen those memes or memes, what do you call it? Calling sharks racist. Great whites specifically. They're like, well, you're going to have to rename the great white shark the Caucasian shark. The fact of the matter is, well, it's probably a joke. There are some people that are probably serious. That's the sad irony of it. But this shows you how far it's gone. Simply because it has white in the name, people would be against it. Yeah, that's why, another reason why great white sharks have such a bad rap. It's because they got white in their name. But that's what it comes down to. I mean, like I said a couple years ago, they were trying to ban the song "White Christmas" because they said it's racist. I was like, well, the last time I checked, that was about snow. But whatever floats your boat, I guess. You want to freaking wasting time. But this whole politically correct thing is like I said, it's even touching animals now. So it's like, it's gone on far enough. I mean, taking down freaking monuments, and it's not going to be just the Confederate monuments. I'm telling you right now. Because there's like American presidents like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Ulysses, what the hell his name is? Whatever the hell his name is. General Grant, when he was the president. They all owned slaves. You can take those monuments too. Hell, George Washington owned 300 slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned 200 plus. It was like over 500 slaves between just the first two presidents right there. Or was Thomas Jefferson the second or third? Who cares? Not important. But that's what it comes down to. It's like, this isn't... You're not going to change the past by freaking taking down monuments or trying to change history, because you can't change history. That doesn't work. You people have seen Back to the Future way too many times. It's like, I've watched it a lot too, but you know what? I know you can't change the past. Hell, if you could, I'd go back and stop Hank Williams from dying on January 1st, 1953. Or keep James Dean from getting in that car. Or stop the Titanic from sinking, if you could change history. But you can't. These people need to freaking accept that. It's like, you don't like something, don't look at it. You don't want something, don't buy it. You don't like certain food, don't eat it. You don't like a certain drink, don't drink it. It's that simple. But don't freaking tell other people they can't. Because that's just stupid. It's like, being offended by shit doesn't get you anywhere. It's like all these people now that they're really that surprised that the sharks are attacking people. It's like, well, you keep going in their water more and more, and it keeps warming up, and they like warm water. What the hell did you think was going to happen? You want to keep them out further out in the ocean where that won't happen, where you don't swim? Feed them. I know it sounds crazy, but if they go out where the food source is, they're not near land, right? It's not that hard. But if there's no food, if there's no fish swimming around for them, they hear people splashing around the water, they're going to go see what it is. And they don't have hands or legs, so they're going to bite to see what it is. And if it tastes good, they're going to eat it. You can't fault them for that. If you were a shark, you'd be doing the same thing. So don't act all offended by that either. They're just doing what comes naturally to them. It's just like with wolves. They only hope... Freaking hey. Should have closed that damn window. Yeah, too late now. It's just like with wolves, though. It's like, they attack this, they attack... No, they don't. Don't give me that shit. They only go for what is needed. They only hunt what they need for their pack and to eat. They don't hunt for sport. That's another animal besides the shark that's got a bad rap, is a wolf. Wolves aren't bad. I mean, all dogs are descendants of wolves. It's not just a commercial. It's the truth. That's why you see some dogs that look just like a wolf. Some huskies look more like wolves than others. It's like, if you have a dog, you basically have a wolf. Even if you got a little midget chihuahua, look at it as a miniature wolf. Because that's basically what they are. Just like cats and a lynx. Hell, I have a Maine Coon cat. His name is Coco. I think you've seen him in my other videos. He's my associate. But basically, you know, wolves get the same rap that sharks get. It's just stupid. It's like, sorry, having trouble sitting still here. Plus, this camera's a little weird today. I don't know why. But it's like acting all surprised just because the animal does what it comes naturally to him. It's just like me and my friend helped few baby birds the other day because the nest fell out of the tree. But naturally, the mother and father bird or wherever they were that just buzzed past us. It's their instinct. They didn't know we were trying to help their little babies that fell out of the tree, but they're just doing what comes naturally to them. But it's like sharks aren't bad, wolves aren't bad. See, that's another thing that pisses me off is with sharks. They've actually been banning this, but not completely yet. What they've been doing with sharks is they'll cut off the fins and throw the sharks back in the water. And the shark can't swim after that, so it dies. That's fucking bullshit. That should be illegal. There's no reason for that. There's no reason at all for that. But they've been banning it, and a lot of the shipping companies like FedEx and shit like that, they've been fucking A, you guys are pissing me off outside. Yeah, come over there and see what happens. Freaking, I'm gonna wrap this up. But companies like FedEx and UPS have been banning it, which is good. To start banning the shipping of it. And one more thing about wolves is that that's another thing. I mean, people kill it just for the fur. It's like that's another thing that's wrong. It's like wolves shouldn't be killed at all because you can relocate them, put them in other areas. You don't need to fucking kill them. Same with alligators. Alligators in a swimming hole or something. Take him to another area. There's no reason to kill him. You're not gonna freaking eat him. Most people don't eat alligator. I've tried it. Honestly, it doesn't taste very good. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Alligators are cool looking. Actually pretty mellow. Can't say the same for crocodiles though. Crocodiles are always seem to be bricks. It's not to say they should be killed though, just because of it. Just stay away from them. But anyways, check out those shark movies that I mentioned, the good ones, and the ones I don't have that I mentioned. Don't bother with those. This video is a little longer than I intended it to be, but I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about ranting about other issues, but it's kind of all tied to it in a way, because it's all in the same, ends up being the same thing, really. People are offended by it, or freaking act all surprised when something happens. But anyways, have a good day.